For those of you in Alberta, you are going to love this one. Unless you work for the government, then you're not. It's such a beautiful morning. I love mornings. This little video, we're going to look at the question, the issue. Do we in Canada have the right to travel in our own privately owned automobile on public roadways without a permit or a license from some issuing body? Now, my belief is that we do, and I intend to establish that using logic, reason, and pointing at the words that the police point to themselves. Now, I tried very hard. I know some people are scared of these concepts. They're scared what'll happen if something happens to me. Who's going to take care of me? They're full of fear at the idea that people might be out there and are responsible for themselves, or who haven't passed a test, or personally, I don't think people should be on the road and not be competent, but I don't see how having an expired license affects your competency. Personally, I'm quite certain that that right is there. People who craft the acts and the statutes have purposely tried to hide these truths. A lot of people in the country, I was on a forum, hello St. Catharines, I was on a forum and some of the people there, it's unbelievable. Apparently, I'm a leader of a cult for merely believing these things. And they're very angry, very scared, very frustrated. They refuse to look at these issues. I wanted to give them a half an hour of time with this movie where they could explain what their perspective is, and the viewers would be able to get an equal view, you know, I mean, and you guys decide. But they didn't want that. They had no desire to actually discuss it or debate these issues. All they wanted to do was call me a cult leader and insult me for these ideas and perspectives and views that I have. 27 pages it went on, and if you look at it, it's funny. You highlight the word cult. In some of those posts, it's cult, 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 cult. They seem very proud that they are tax-paying citizens who follow the law, but they don't want to discuss the law, and they never even read the law. They just do what they're told. Now, as a free man on the land, that doesn't work for me. I have to follow my heart. And if there is a problem, if there is a difference between what my heart tells me to do and what these laws tell me to do, I'm going to have to follow my heart. Now, trying to get them to understand the distinction between statute and law, absolutely impossible. They're essentially locked in a kind of childish law and order sense of morality of right and wrong. That right and wrong is doing what the government tells you. And they seem very proud of it. It's like, I do what I'm told, take care of me, give me a cookie. And when they look at these issues, even when they do try to look at them, they will reject the truth merely because they don't like the potential that truth has to negatively affect their life. So they reject it merely for that reason. That can't be the truth. Why? Because I don't like it. They operate from a position where they honestly think the truth is determined by what they like and don't like. But that's not the case, as any adult knows. So what we're going to look at is a number of things. Does this right exist? Now, I'm in British Columbia. Recently, I met with a guy from Alberta who was exercising his common law right to travel. The cops pulled him over and gave him tickets for failing to have documentation for a motor vehicle. So I ended up looking at that act, the Traffic Safety Act, under which he was charged, and had the honor of meeting the guy. He seemed like a very nice guy, and we looked at what is going on, and I deconstructed the Traffic Safety Act and found something rather interesting. Now, I've also been helping other people, and I've been looking at the documents that ICBC, Insurance Corporation of British Columbia, the documents that they give to people in the form of these traffic tickets, and their documentation refers to these as invoices. So we're going to look at a basic argument, a basic position to determine whether or not the common law right to travel exists across Canada for everyone, or for every adult. The other question is, can we exercise that right lawfully without being unlawfully accosted by government agents or police officers? So I'd like to start by saying hi to the people in Ontario. Hi, I understand you're having Hate Menard meetings. Personally, I would suggest you do something else with your time, but if that's what you want to do, that's fine. I hope you enjoy my movie. I told you I was going to do it. So, meet Malcolm.
Hello, World Freeman Society, Canada, and other common law jurisdictions. Please allow me to introduce myself. I am many things to many different people. Each uses a name to attract my attention. To my children, I am Dad. My former partner calls me the X. My name, given to me by my parents, is the same thing, just a name. It is not who I am. Me, myself, and I is more appropriate, as I am a tri-being with mind, body, and soul. A child of God, a child of the Supreme Being, with God-given rights and abilities. Most definitely the right to be on this planet, with free will and with the ability to choose my own duties and responsibilities. My preferred name is Freeman on the Land, Malcolm Douglas of the family Pinnell, which my claim of right was unchallenged and became by estoppel, permanent irrevocable estoppel, mid-September 2009. I feel I have been in training my whole life for this path that I've chosen. My experiences, the people I have attracted, my education, what I have done for a living, all have led me to where I am now. When I made the decision to follow this path of a free man, I searched my soul for that which I desire to accomplish. I came up with 3 goals. The first was to establish my right to travel, to get rid of my driver's license, which is my last piece of government identification. Secondly, through my efforts, make it easier for those that follow by knocking down some of the walls or all of the walls that society and the justice system has put up. And thirdly, to make Freeman on the Land a new status of Canadian recognized by society. My plan started with regards to exercising my rights to travel. On the 1st of February 2010, I purchased an automobile, did not register it, put no plates upon it, had no insurance. I traveled with my claim of right documents only. I had traveled for 17 days without any hardships. It was actually quite exciting. I felt like Christopher Columbus or something like that. Anyway, on the 17th day on my way to work about 6 o'clock in the evening on Glenmore Trail in Calgary, Alberta, right near the Deerfoot Trail Auto Mall there, I had an officer or a police cruiser behind me at that time with the red and blue lights flashing. We pulled over onto the side of the road. Once we were pulled over, he came up to my window. A nice young fellow, actually. He didn't seem to know too much. He was quite confused. He asked if I had a permit or if I had just purchased the car and I was planning on taking it somewhere to park. I advised him no, I was traveling. I was on my way to work. He asked me how long I had been doing this for. I advised him for 17 days. He seemed quite astonished and a little baffled. He then took my documents back to his cruiser. I saw him on his cell phone making some phone calls. He seemed quite confused. A short period thereafter, another police cruiser pulled up with a male and female officer. They poked around my car. They did not speak to myself or my guest at all. They just shone the flashlights, looked in the car, got the vehicle identification number, that type of thing, but did not speak to us one iota. When the officer came back, about 45 minutes later, he had some bills of exchanges or invoices or violation tickets, whichever you prefer for me. He advised me that I am to be in court in 30 days, and the violation tickets were for traveling, for no insurance, no driver's license, and no registration, as well as that they were going to impound my car, tow and impound